that the district attorney gonna fumble, because first of all, the charges are felonious.
Yeah, I don't hear.
You know what I'm saying? And they're erroneous because Diddy is not a pimp. You cannot charge a man that's not a pimp with sex trafficking charges.
Yeah, we on Boss Talk 101. Yeah, we gonna talk.
Let me ask you this. Today well, let me just expound on this. Today, I think they denied letting Dirk have a bond again.
Yeah.
And I thought that was, they was looking forward. The dad flew in. They thought they was going to be able to get him, to at least get a bond and be able to get him out of there. Do you think what is the reason for holding somebody like him? They're holding a lot of them, not just him. It's a few people I've seen them. They won't let him out. Like, do you?
Nelly,
is it be due to the crime? Who?
Nelly. What's his name? R.L. Nelly or something? The little dude caught the
Melly.
Melly, yeah.
Yeah.
So what it is, bro, it's white supremacy. Although they may or may not allegedly commit a crime, it's more of a bigger narrative, right? And we put our foots in our mouths, you know what I'm saying? We kind of are contributors to all this stuff. They have a serious problem with young brothers like Dirk, that's multi-millionaires, living in these mansions, smoking weed, kicking it, dreads, doing everything they want to do. You know what I'm saying? And they have regular jobs, $50,000, $60,000 a year. I mean, to a racist district attorney or to a racist judge, they give them power. Now the Constitution says that you have a right to due process, and you're innocent until found guilty, and that everybody can be granted a bond, but because, Dirk and Kells and Diddy and all the other brothers that's incarcerated as celebrities, because they represent a certain segment of our community, it's fashionable or it's beneficial to keep their foot on their neck. Not for the purpose of being harsh on them, but being harsh on the black community. It's more a referendum on the black community than it is on per se a person, They picked a jury trial this week for this the fourth day today. They narrowed it down to 45 people. I think they got their 12 and the 6 they gonna have for the trial. Right.
They about to get this trial on the way starting next week. They think they're estimating it to last a few months. How do you see Diddy coming out in a few months after this whole smoke settles? One woman, they did show them pictures of Michael B. Jordan. They showed them pictures of a few other actors that just trying to see, they're picking his jury. I've been through that where they're trying to figure out who's going to say what, or is it going to be a biasness in this situation? Can justice really be served in this situation when it comes to Diddy?
I'm almost confident that the district attorney going to fumble. Because first of all, the charges are felonious.
Yeah, I don't hear.
You know what I'm saying? And they're erroneous because Diddy is not a pimp. You cannot charge a man that's not a pimp with sex trafficking charges. Every year, people have bachelor's parties. They order sex workers. You can't be biased. And there's going to be somebody in that jury, that can see that this is a bias type thing. And because when you operate out of that type of mentality, in the case we received with Young Thug, the district attorney, in the case of O.J. Simpson, they generally fumble.
Yeah.
This case is too big for the district attorney to be morally, have a moral compass, right? They're gonna do some crazy stuff. They're gonna make up some lies, and they just running. They throwing anything at the wall, see what's gonna stick. Now, what's gonna happen is the people that's the jury, they're gonna feel that they have a duty, to give him a fair shot. And we all know, if we go based on what we know as, from people, that you cannot give Puffy or you never should have gave R. Kelly the charges you gave him, because it does, you know, the person don't fit the crime. You know, when you start talking about baby oil, come on now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, when you start talking about a man that's a multi-billionaire, sex trafficking, you know, and you know how women are.
Yeah.
Most women are groupies. There's some women that would have sex with that man for a Happy Meal. And you got to take all this into account. But because the New York district allowed lawsuits to kick in for a year to be retroactive, that's when Casey came in, and she was the first one. Now, what they did, they took their Casey case, and they said, okay, now that we have depositions, and we have statements on the oral, oral statements where they can't, they under, they can't, on the oath, you know what I'm saying? They was able to extrapolate that information and pile together some stuff, right? You know, and people are gonna lie because there's money involved.
Wow. I want to ask you also, staying on that subject, about Shanon Sharp. Shanon Sharp has a young girl that was on OnlyFans, and she basically, Gabby, she's basically have him on recorder. He, some choking and some talk going on. But as she's dealing with him, another lady pops up, another lady from Old Man, and she didn't look the part. But then when you look at her old pictures, she's deteriorating fast, is what I'm saying. She don't look like somebody Shanon Sharp would have even been dealing with. But they're coming out the woodworks. Me and you spoke about this when they was coming at Jay and Busby. Busby is the one who conveying this, Tony Busby. Like, what do you see? Is this a money grab? Is this a witch hunt?
Well,
or is this justice being served?
Jay-Z had a song, he said, "You still OJ, you still a nigga." So one thing all of our brothers in the media and the brothers that's successful got to understand is that you were always a target, but now you're gonna be targeted more so because it's a monetary value. It's like you monetizing your YouTubes. These women are monetizing their coochie now. You know what I'm saying? It's, I'm finna get paid, and they'll lie, they'll make up stuff, they do anything to get paid. So I think it's more an accountability on the part of our leadership. We have to just understand that business as usual is not business as usual. We have to move a little bit more methodical, and Shanon Sharp, 30, 40 years ago, he probably did that regularly. You know what I mean? That's really nothing. Man, I've been with multiple women, and every time, we have sex, they want me to choke them. Yeah, a lot of women like that. I don't know. You might know a little something like that.
But after seeing that in today's day and age, you have to be scared to even say that on the phone or out where somebody can record you.
That's what I'm saying. Times have changed. I remember, you back in the day, you had sex with a woman. She wants you to choke her and call her all kind of names and stuff.
Slap her.
Yeah, slap her. Now you can get sued for that, and you get life. Imprisonment.
I'm talking about basically she had recorded him like she set it up.
Well,
she had all the recording. She
got a pimp.
It's something. Somebody coerced her into doing all of this because she had her receipts after she left. So you got to think about it, man. People got receipts. My boy Smokey Robinson, I just talked about him yesterday. These women said it was four different women that worked for him. Talking about the blue room. He had a blue room, and then they knew where the cameras wasn't at. These women worked there for years, so they said the blue room, the garage, and the laundry room was where the cameras wasn't at. And they said that's where he would hit them at. And they also pulled the wife into it and said she knew what was going on. And I was like, man, a black woman knowing that her man is doing all this, I don't know about that.
Man, black men, it's an attack on you. You are doing really well. White women love y'all. Asian women love y'all. Y'all doing really well. Just be careful, man, because these folks, man, they have a job, and their job is to destroy Kwanzaa Kajufu talk about the conspiracy to destroy young black men. Now it's a conspiracy to destroy all black men.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So y'all got to just really be attentive and know that we are under attack. It's a war. You know, it's a war for supremacy. And black men are doing really well in the level of supremacy. You know, white women go crazy over Kanye. They go crazy over Jay-Z. They go crazy over all these black celebrities and stuff like that. And white people, racist white people, can't stand that.
Yeah, we on Boss Talk 101. Yeah, we gonna talk.